Could we see the Denver Broncos kick the tires on a recently released wide receiver with playoff experience? But before we talk about that, guys, I want to shout out the affiliate partner for today's video, Whitebeard Signworks. Use code BS30, link in the description below, to save $30 off your first purchase on NFL LED team logo signs, just like this really cool sign behind me. Again, that is code BS30, link in the description below, to save $30 off your first purchase from Whitebeard Signworks. Thank you so much to them. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. I want to go ahead and bring in this tweet here from the NFL. This morning, the Jacksonville Jaguars released wide receiver Gabe Davis. After Brian Thomas Jr. broke out last year and they drafted Travis Hunter this year, it made no sense to keep Gabe Davis around. Davis was formerly the wide receiver 2 for the Buffalo Bills behind Stephon Diggs, and he was decent in that role. He had that epic playoff game in 2021 against Kansas City, and it was really that game that he parlayed into a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he was terrible in his one season in Jacksonville last year. Going ahead and bringing in Gabe Davis's stats here, he had 836 receiving yards in 2022 with Buffalo, along with 7 touchdowns. So he's been reliable in the red zone, at least during his tenure in Buffalo, but he's never been over 1,000 yards in his entire career. Granted, he has been a wide receiver too, but still, you even see wide receiver 2s in the NFL, especially when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen that can reach 1,000 yards. So, I don't know, man. I don't think that that's an encouraging sign, but there's plenty of other discouraging signs on tape with Gabe Davis. I mean, he's not a great route runner. That's one thing that we have to make clear. He is not a great route runner. He's more of a straight line speed type of guy. And with his size, even though it says he's 225 here, he's lost some weight since then to be more of a Z receiver in the NFL. And you have to be a good route runner in order to be a good Z receiver in the NFL. And Davis just isn't that. So that is another reason why I'm not a big fan of Davis coming to Denver. Last year in Jacksonville, he played in 10 games before tearing his MCL. 20 passes caught for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also lost a fumble last year. So, yeah, man, no. I am not a big fan of bringing in Gabe Davis, and there's even more evidence why I'm not a big fan of it. His passer rating when thrown to over the last 3 seasons is just not good. Out of a possible 158.3, his passer rating when thrown to by Josh Allen in 22 and 23 was 86.3 and 87.9. Then, last year, when he was catching passes from Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, his passer rating when thrown to dipped all the way down to 61.5. Now, I will admit that Trevor Lawrence is a lot better than what the media says, but he's no Josh Allen. When Gabe Davis doesn't have an elite quarterback, he doesn't produce at a high level. His drop rate during that time is hovering around 9.5%, which is really bad, and his contested catch rate is not great for his size. More penalties than touchdowns last year. And additionally, I don't see where it makes sense at all on this roster to bring in Gabe Davis, because you've got an established core of wide receivers at this point. Sutton, Mims, and Vele as your top 3. You've got Pat Bryant, who you just drafted in the 3rd round. You've got Troy Franklin, who you drafted in the 4th round last year. And Trent Sherfield is going to make the roster for his special teams value. That's why you brought him in as a free agent from Minnesota. Then you've got some receivers here that you want to get a more extended look at, like A.T. Perry, Michael Bandy. Maybe the only argument I could see here is if you were replacing Davis with Bandy, but at that point, Davis would just be competing for a practice squad spot. Then you've got your 3 undrafted free agents in Jerwan Newton, Joaquin Davis, and Courtney Jackson that the Broncos no doubt want to get a look at. So I don't see any room for Gabe Davis on this roster, even if he made more sense, but I'm just going to be brutally honest. I don't think Gabe Davis is very good. So I don't think that it makes sense for the Denver Broncos to bring him in on multiple different levels. I am seeing people on Twitter saying that Gabe Davis would be the perfect fit for the Broncos. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think Gabe Davis would be a terrible fit for what the Broncos are trying to build. Plus, I don't even think he's a great fit in general, just because there's no room for him on the roster. So, yeah, all this talk on Twitter about Gabe Davis to the Broncos, I don't think it's anything more than social media scuttlebutt at this point. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed, and let me know in the comment section below, guys, how would you feel if the Denver Broncos were to bring in Gabe Davis? Again, for me, I just don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. I'm going to be interested to see where Gabe Davis ends up. Honestly, I think going back to Buffalo might be a good idea for him because that's really been the only place in his career where he's had some resemblance of success. But let me know in the comment section below your thoughts, Broncos country. I would love to hear from you as always. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.